Many years ago in the mighty land of Egypt, a cruel ruler named Pharaoh sat upon his ornate throne. He believed himself to be a god among men, and forced the Egyptians to worship only him. Any who dared defy this tyrannical decree faced unimaginable torture. In those dark times, the Israelites lived as slaves in Egypt. Generations had passed since their forefather Yaqub first settled there with his family, but over the centuries they had been steadily stripped of their rights and dignity. Now they toiled endlessly under the merciless lash of Pharaoh's overseers, building grand monuments and structures out of backbreaking labor. Among the Israelites was a young couple named Amram and Yocheved. Despite the horrors all around, they cherished a secret hope that one day a deliverer would arise to liberate their people from bondage. When Yocheved gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, they knew he was special. "We shall name him Musa," said Amram with a joyful smile, unaware of the destiny that name would foreshadow. But calamity struck soon after. Pharaoh grew paranoid of the Israelites multiplying and issued a decree. All newborn Israelite sons were to be killed at birth. In anguish, Yocheved nursed Musa in secret for some time. When he had grown strong, she fashioned a waterproof reed basket and placed him in the Nile River with prayer on her lips. By divine will, Musa's little basket floated down the mighty river and came upon the bathing pool of Pharaoh's daughter, Princess Bithiah. Taking pity on the crying infant, she rescued and adopted him, unaware of his Israelite heritage. Musa grew up in Pharaoh's luxurious palace, unaware of his true origins or people's plight. One day, as a young man, Musa wandered from the palace and came upon an Egyptian violently thrashing an Israelite slave. Filled with anger and compassion, Musa murdered the Egyptian in defense of the slave. The next day he found two Israelites quarreling, and to his horror, one confessed he had seen Musa kill the Egyptian. Fearing Pharaoh's wrath, Musa fled into the desert wilderness. There, lost and alone, he came upon a small shrub engulfed in flames yet burning without being consumed. A heavenly voice called out to him from within the shrub, "O Musa, verily I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I have chosen you as a messenger to Pharaoh and his people." Musa fell prostrate in awe and submission. He had lived as an Egyptian his whole life, but now learned the truth of his Israelite ancestry and divine purpose. Musa spent many years in devotion to God among Midian's rolling sand dunes, raising a family with the daughter of a tribal chieftain. But soon the time came for him to fulfill his destiny. Armed with signs of prophecy, Musa returned to Egypt and confronted the hardened Pharaoh. "Let my people go so they may worship their Lord," he demanded fearlessly. But Pharaoh only scoffed and increased his persecution of the Israelites. Musa begged God to unleash punishments upon Pharaoh to soften his heart, and thus the plagues began in succession. First came blood in the Nile that polluted their life-giving water. Then frogs swarmed the land in hordes that could not be contained. After came gnats and flies filling their homes, followed by pestilence targeting their livestock. Thunder, hail, and locusts next destroyed their crops. A thick darkness fell upon Egypt for 3 days as the terrified people huddled in their homes. Yet even through each calamity, Pharaoh remained stubborn in his arrogance. That is, until the final and most terrible sign was unleashed, God decreed every firstborn Egyptian son would perish. Doors were marked with lamb's blood for the angel of death to pass over. In the dead of night, wailing filled the streets as parents discovered their children lifeless in their beds. Driven to madness by his losses, Pharaoh finally broke. "Begone from here, you and your people," he cried out in defeat. At last, Musa led the Israelites out of 400 years of bondage towards the shores of the Red Sea. But Pharaoh changed his mind once more and gave chase with his army. Cornered at the sea with mountains on either side, the Israelites cried in despair, until Musa raised his staff and God parted the waves before them. With Pharaoh's forces fast approaching, the final moment had come. At Musa's instruction, the Israelites crossed over to safety, and the waters collapsed upon Pharaoh's men, drowning them all. Finally free, Musa and his people would journey through years of trials in the barren desert wilds. But under Musa's guidance and God's divine laws, a great civilization was awakening that would leave an eternal mark upon the world.
Please subscribe to my channel Lessons of Life and press the bell notification icon.